we tend to base our lives on idealized notions. We have idealized notions of, what a spiritual teacher is going to be like. And then we go out and try to find somebody who's like that. And then we decide that we've found a spiritual teacher. And a lot of the people out there who are spiritual teachers did exactly the same thing, to the point where they decided, hey, I'm living up to my idealized notions, so therefore I'm a spiritual teacher. So what happens is it becomes, and no fault of anyone's, I mean, this is like the state we're at as a species, It becomes a collusion, an alignment of people coming together because they share the same idealized notions. But I'd like to say that idealized notions of truth hold truth at bay. Notions become like ice cream cones in the sky, dangling carrots. But yet that's how we function. That's how we go about looking for a teacher. So the very fundamental approach that we take to trying to move forward prevents us from really moving forward. All we end up doing in the name of our spirituality is reinforcing our preconceived notions of what it means to be spiritual. If we find someone who's even more indoctrinated into our preconceived notions than we are, then we think they know more than we do. We think they're more spiritual than we are, and then we follow them as our teachers. It's called spiritual liberation for a reason. It's liberation from such notions. And so the path, just like Adi Shankara, great spiritual teacher from some time ago, just like he said, it's the path of discernment. We need to learn how to become discerning. Now, in the world today, we sort of have the word discernment and we have the word judgment, and we kind of blur them together and we say, well, don't be judgmental. But there's a difference, because discernment comes from a very different place within us than judgment. Judgment comes from this place where we're rigid and identified and cling to these notions and cling to the idea of what we know and cling to certain emotional notions about, oh, well, if I'm going to do something spiritual, then I should feel light and airy, and maybe we should all sort of sway to the music together and feel our oneness with each other. Now, these are all identities. And our judgments are based upon our identities. So we do well to ask ourselves, what are we identified with? What have we become indoctrinated into? How have we become programmed to think and function and judge, you see, based upon that? Whereas, as Shankara said, the human evolution, your spiritual growth, it's about discernment. Discernment is all about moving past identity, coming from that place inside where you already know. Coming from that place inside where you are already one with God, which lies far beyond the grasp of your identities, far beyond the comprehension of judgment. So aspire to that and attempt to find a spiritual teacher based upon that. You see? And that's not being judgmental. That's being discerning.